Today, guys, we're talking about how to kill grass. And I mean, kill grass in a way that you can actually use it productively as far as gardens or landscaping or whatever you may be wanting to do with that. Now, this is what this field looked like untouched. This is tall grass. It is thick, it is lush, it is absolutely unusable unless you're grazing sheep or cattle or something, I don't know. But what I want to do is grow gardens and put in orchards and things such as that I don't want to have a big hayfield over here. So what I've been doing is experimenting with different ways to actually kill the grass. Now, this was actually given to me as a gift, though, as they're kind of giving it away. These are old carpet tiles, okay? And typically I like to keep the carpet side down so the rubber side here faces up. Anyways, but look, this is excluding light to underneath. If you look underneath here, you can tell the grass that was there is brown and dead, and hopefully will eventually, after several months, not come back. But at the same time, it's actually making a border, because right here, and you can tell I'm going to put a fence around this area as well. That's coming up, but it's actually making a border so that you can weed eat around this or mow around it, and your plants can be in the middle protected. So there you go. That's one way. Find some old carpet squares. Now, this more of the conventional method right here. This is just a silage tarp or a landscape tarp, and I just put this down today, so it's not really much of a demonstration, but it is some nice heavy duty material here. There's the white side and the darker side. I'm leaving the dark side up to solarize the grass underneath, and that's gonna, again, it's going to eliminate the sunlight, but it's also going to cook it. Hopefully it's going to get very, very hot under there, and with time it's going to actually cook the grass and the roots, and that can actually turn this into a fall garden that I want to. So I'm going to try to connect this little strip here that I've excluded the grass from with the carpet tiles, as you see, and have actually planted some blueberries and some flowers, and kind of extended it out this way to kind of create more of a usable spot. This looks a little unsightly right now, but that's all right. This is going to actually help kill this part off, join these two gardens, and once this part is dead and killed off, I'm going to move it down here. We're just going to do a little piece at a time, because guys, you can get your tiller, your cultivator out, whatever, help start it, help break it up, and that's fine, but you need to put something on top of it. If you don't, the grass is going to grow back, sometimes even with more vengeance, because those roots, you're actually going to spread them, tear them up and spread them. Now, moving along, pumpkins right here are starting to actually vine out, and I think this may be one of the very first female flowers right here, about to bloom eventually, but typically the first set doesn't actually produce any fruit. They're going to fall off anyways. But check out this corn, guys. Now, this is all popcorn. It's an old heirloom variety, Dakota Black. But you know how the old saying goes, knee high by the 4th of July for corn? Well, this is about 7 feet tall already. And interesting story about that saying. I guess if you ever heard about the knee high on the 4th of July, old farmers used to think that if you had your corn was knee high on the 4th of July, that you'd have long enough a season to have a productive harvest, and have enough corn or whatever to last you through the winter for your feedstock or your family, things like that. Also, you have to factor in, this was probably using horses and cattle to plow with, and without industrial machinery and fertilizer and new hybrids and all that kind of stuff like that. And families had to work hard, so having your corn be stunted or have a late frost or snow, something like that up in the Midwest, yeah, so that was a real thing. You need to have the corn knee high by the 4th of July. It could also indicate your soil maybe is not that fertile, so that could be a fertility issue, and that would give you a chance to kind of fertilize if necessary, if you're running behind on the season. But yeah, I thought that was always a interesting thing. So if you've never heard that before, let me know down in the comments below if that's the first time you've heard the story about knee high by the 4th of July, or even what that may or may not mean. Now, this beautiful flower, this is Tithonia. This is also called the Mexican sunflower. These are actually very beautiful. These are the tallest I've ever seen them grow, and I've grown these at my house before, and just the landscaping, and they got 3 or 4 feet tall, but these are towering over me. These are 7 feet tall and still growing. and they're just now starting to put on some blooms. But check it out, man. These flowers, there are buds everywhere on this. This is the Tithonia. So definitely grow this in your garden, guys. Monarchs will not host this. Is not a host plant for the larva, but the monarch adults will visit this all the time. So it's a great plant to bring butterflies in general to your property. This is just a typical sunflower. I forget the variety, but it's just your standard yellow. But I had an entire row through here, and as you can tell, there's two. Maybe this one here is actually coming back to life. So three sunflowers that somehow survived the onslaught of the deer, and a grasshopper just jumped away. So battling the odds out here, guys, out here in the elements. But yeah, so that corn is fantastic. And I just noticed this right here. Some of these are actually starting to tassel out. Yeah, it's pretty neat. But yeah, so there you go, guys. Up close, the male flowers on top drop the pollen. Pollen falls down onto the receptacle, the sticky tassels, which go down into what forms the corn cob. So there you go. If you've never seen that before, it's up close look at how the corn is actually fertilizes itself. Now this patch over here I had given up complete hope on, but it seems to be coming back to life a little bit. How? I don't know. But I did notice this right here, and this is what is, I'm gonna show you right here. Look at this. This is a mustard. So somehow this giant leaf right here, you can see the flower is about to be put onto it. But yeah, this little patch of basil here, I reused a lot of my soil from growing microgreens and things like that. And I have mustard and radish seeds just pop up randomly in all flower pots and gardens because of the reusing of the old seed. And that mustard plant somehow just sprouted up, and it is absolutely gigantic. Yeah, deer don't eat the mustard out here, at least not yet. So yeah, if you like growing mustard greens, grow them. I like turnip and collard greens better, but you got to fight the bugs for those. So mustard greens may be the way to go if you have an insect issue. And this pumpkin over here is really starting to vine out, and hopefully it takes over this whole section over here, because that's what I'm going to talk about: killing grass other ways. So pumpkins, squash, things that vine out like this, let them just grow. You don't have to cut this grass over here once the pumpkins start taking off, and hopefully over time they're going to smother the grass out. And you can, next year you dig another spot, you let some more pumpkins grow on top of it, and eventually, hopefully, it starts helping you take some of your grass and eliminate it. So growing pumpkin patch or stuff like that, watermelons maybe even, as long as they're excluding light and they're actually going to help smother things, absolutely. Now, if you take your grass clippings on top of that and you want to kind of line the, pile it up on the stalk of the pumpkins, which will help them actually grow. They're going to root into that. And also going to help, a little fertility, a little extra boost of nitrogen. That's also going to help smother out the grass, and then in the long term help kill the grass off. So pumpkins, I think, is a great way to start a new garden, especially if you're starting a new property or something like that, because you can fertilize one little spot, like right here. You can put a big mound of compost, and the pumpkins will do what they do, and they're just going to vine around and take up space and eliminate the need to cut grass around it, because you're not going to be able to, for one. But hopefully in the process of growing the pumpkins, you can help actually start eliminating grass around where the pumpkins are growing. This little section here, whatever I planted didn't actually survive, so we'll more to come. Maybe I'll put some carpet tiles down here, or kind of cultivate this up and put maybe some late season tomatoes or peppers or something in here. But the basil's doing fine. Lots of basil. This is probably ready to harvest, quite honestly. I'll have to check with the restaurant owner that I do provide some produce to, see if he needs some. If he does, I'll definitely probably harvest this. If not today, definitely this week. Get that basil its first hard cut back, and it'll flush back out. It's gonna be just great. Fig tree, but more pumpkins vining, and it can take over all this section here. It can run into this tall grass. It can do whatever it wants over here, and I don't care. I'm not going to cut this grass. I have enough as it is to try to manage. Trying to take care of all of it is just At this point in the season, I have no idea. It has been so hot, but it has also rained more than I have imagined in the last like 10 years. So I swear it's like a jungle. You cut the grass and 3-4 days later, it's like you've never been here in a week or two. It is absolutely insane. Cannot keep up with it. So the pumpkins like it, and they can do whatever they want. They can vine over this whole area right here, take it over, kill all the grass. I do not care. But yeah, so when you're starting off with a little property, guys, a new garden, find some old recycled, carpet tiles, some old, you can even use wood. Get some old 2x4s or some, like if someone's tearing an old house down or something. I mean, just use the wood, use paneling, old siding, aluminum roofing, whatever it is. Exclude the light and kill that grass off, okay? That's what's gonna help you with the establishment of your gardens. So hopefully that was just a little bit of a show and tell, but we're coming along. This has been quite a development year. My next project is, you can kind of tell the fence, rickety little makeshift deer fence around the little tomato patch down there. I showed you that last time. But this little section here, this is where the next project's going to be. I haven't quite decided, but I'm fairly certain this is where I'm going to put some apple trees, maybe some peach trees, and or don't know. But this is going to be a site of a nice little orchard, if you will. And at that cost, I don't want to have to be cutting grass here all the time, right? Especially with apple trees and fruit trees. You want to make sure the roots have plenty of place to run without any competition. So I haven't decided how I'm going to tackle this little hillside right here. But this area here is all going to have to come out of the grass, and mowing it is it's just getting to be kind of a pointless endeavor at this point, because I keep cutting the same grass and I have no intention of grazing animals on it. So grass is just basically a placeholder until I can get the trees planted. But things are coming along. This little homestead project here up in the hills, it's starting to look a little bit more organized, a little more tame. We got the overall, I think we got the overall foundation of what's happening up here pretty well established. Now it's a matter of maintaining and expanding. So every time I get tired of cutting grass, I figure, what else can I plant? How much more can I actually dig up? This little spot here, here's the garden I showed you at the beginning, and maybe this section here. This looks like a good candidate for not cutting grass ever again. So yeah, this will be the next little spot that gets killed off, and I'm going to go from there and just keep killing as much grass as possible, keep expanding it a little bit at a time without killing myself over it, because you can rent a tractor or whatever and have someone come plow it all up, but I don't have that option right now. And even in this really, really tall stuff here, just as an experiment, I didn't cut it first. I didn't, people say you need to mow it down first, then cover it up. This is just tall grass. And down here, it's still a little bit green to it, but it is matted down quite well, and it is killing it off. Right. But there you go. Kill the grass, plant gardens. It's way better for you anyways. Less cutting grass, more gardening. That's my advice. Hope it helps. See you next time.